Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in live in Adinkra Radio. Live right now, I'm in Adinkra Multimedia. We are live on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Adinkra app. You could check live right now. I appreciate for listening to us. Enyanum yade radia sisawama bosumi fofora beto ye na otwa akwa beto ye afi akwa beto ye yeda na si bebre na dum ni mu bro hunti ni yeda soti asi mini aga na for me mo bibia akwa ba. Good evening, Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. Tonight we have a special guest coming tonight. His name is Dr. Emmanuel. He's talking all the way from Montefiore Hospital. Not only in Monty, he's also in Starfish program. He's a cardiologist, talking to us live tonight. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and then big shout to all our listeners. Big shout to all multimedia company. Big shout to all Ghanaians who are around the globe. Medo bibia se mode odo abodum uni wa mini hominia enyumre ya baba twetwe nkomo efa ya pomu den de bia meka se ya pomu den ehinya. Welcome to Adinkra. Me kade bia se ya pomu den hu hia ewo kwan benso efa ya nkasa yo ni pediem se ye koni eba se adipa bi chi ya ni esi ade aseda mawrade ye koni eba ye dabremu ni nyina hu hia eduane ekoye num ni nyina hu hia enti ye be stress since every day ye didi de bia ye sorry a eduane kaya no enti ne ye wo doctor bi program na me ye no meka semestral ye nyina ye program ye besuasua niema ama ya akasa ye ho ama ye de aboye bra e de ahwe ya pomuden program ne nye eye me nko amedia ye nyina ye dia uni ho amini ho eti moma ye for odom me pamucho me din di Ruby o from Ruby. And my life is precious. Me say o life e precious. Me mo host enyumri me bani aba betwetwe nkomo efa ya pomuden ene nyumri ya pomuden hu hia efa ya rea haye eye high blood pressure. Your cardiologist ene ewa ye cardiologist doctor ohwe yakoma ho yare ye beka ba high blood pressure ye wa be cheche not only high blood pressure, hypertension kuyen. Yes, so almost how many people? A lot of people was I friend high blood pressure. The chimu and say and for ever tell me amayaka ewaha. Miss Yamu Bebre and you may your doctor no obeka brofo achre obecheche mu kakra miss met me a translate e chimu no so meka amaye nyina atibi enya no nko a your friend doctor no oba beche no oye surgery emma akoma eye heart etimesre se yinina di odobobodum ni anya ya so na yetie doctor na enyumwe obeka brofo no kanso a mesre mu se mo questions bia edibisa na ekwan da ho mutimi bisa ewo Adinkra live ewo Facebook live, Instagram live, Twitter live, utimi bi eko Adinkra app uko o app store utimi ehwe download Adinkra download Adinkra ubenu health and business. Life is precious. Life is precious. Na yentie ni nyina me se nyanse ni obakofo tirimu ewo yenyina wodi wadwen ba wo so de na adwen ba ni nyina bobomu na yesua bibi efrimu me pamucho ye doctor ewa ha oba be cheche ye niema eti munya maso na muma yina enfa odom ahobrasie mu mekasa no mankasa yi a mesromu fanchemi mesromu bebre doctor no eba abekasa achire ye nyina eti munya maso. Good evening, doctor. Thank you so much for coming up tonight. We appreciate your call. In your busy schedule, you are here. live in Adinkra TV, Adinkra Radio, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the social media. Good evening, Doctor. Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Doctor. I have a question. Could you please introduce yourself and then tell us a little about yourself, and then today talking about high blood pressure, that is hypertension. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you to the radio station for having me today. My name is Dr. Emmanuel Emiasola, originally from Nigeria. I'm a board certified internal medicine physician. I'm also doing cardiology right now in Brooklyn at my Mondays Medical Center, and I also have run the Starfish program at Montefiore Medical Center as well. So I am doing both Starfish program as well as cardiology at my Mondays Medical Center.
Thank you so much. He said he's a doctor and as a cardiologist in Montefiore Hospital. Thank you for joining us tonight. I have a few questions. People are talking about there are millions of people that have a high blood pressure, that's hypertension, around the globe. Could you please tell us a little bit about high blood pressure?
Yes, that's an excellent question. So basically, high blood pressure, the blood in our system needs a force in order to, for blood to basically circulate in our entire system, from the heart to the brain to all parts of our body. So this force that is needed to push blood towards all parts of our body, is basically the blood pressure. So usually it's like the pressure in a hose pipe, right? If the pressure is too high, the pipe will burst. If it's too low, you don't have enough flow. So in this case, in the human body, you want the blood pressure to be about a particular number where it will not do any harm to the body. Because if it's too high, it will cause a lot of harm to the body, which I'll come to later on. And if it's too low, people can feel dizzy and they can feel dizzy, lightheaded, and all those symptoms. But when it's too high, that can also become a very severe health risk, because people can have headaches, people can have heart attacks, can have a stroke. So this force that the body needs in order to carry blood from one part of the body, which is the heart, to different parts of the body, which is the brain, your legs, your hands. That's what blood pressure really is.
Thank you for letting us know much about the high blood pressure. I have a question. What is the common cause of high blood pressure?
Causes of life. So there are some people who are genetically, because there's some genetic predisposition in having high blood pressure. There are people who, their father, their grandfather, they were all hypertensive, high blood pressure, and then most times it's a lot of times it could be genetic, but in the majority of cases it's not actually genetic. We don't really know the reason why. We tend to divide high blood pressure into two, something we call primary hypertension and secondary hypertension. Primary hypertension is when you have blood pressure and we can't figure out the reason why you have high blood pressure. Sometimes it can come with age, it can come with different things like people being big, obesity from the food that we eat, adding weight, excessive weight. So at that point, we can't really find the reason why. We just call it primary hypertension because we don't know the reason why. But in a situation where there's something going on in the patient's body, for instance, the person has kidney failure, or some kind of endocrinological disturbances. So when we have a reason why the blood pressure is being affected, that's when we call it secondary hypertension. So a lot of times we don't really know the reason why. As a matter of fact, as we get older, the older we get, the more our blood vessels tend to be stiffer and more stiffer and less elastic, and then our blood pressure would automatically also increase. So sometimes people get high blood pressure with certain age, when they get older, and sometimes it's a little bit at a younger age. So when they look at the younger age and we don't find the reason why, we call it primary hypertension. Basically meaning we don't know the reason why they have high blood pressure. But a lot of times also, if they have kidney failure, have other reasons why they have high blood pressure, then we call it secondary hypertension. And then in little instances, it could be genetic because maybe your father, your grandfather also had high blood pressure. Basically, we say it runs in the family. If that answers the question.
Awesome. Thank you for teaching us tonight. We really appreciate that. Another question just popped up. People are asking, are there any specific warning signs people should watch before, or any lifestyle or prevention, please?
Um, yes. Like I said, like if you go from the reasons, the causes of high blood pressure, like I mentioned, like I told you, it could be genetic, it could be other risk factors like obesity. Other things I forgot to mention earlier is things like eating high salt diets. Let's say I'm from Africa and we put a lot of salt in our food, even after our wives and our family members have cooked. So putting too much salt in your diet increases your blood pressure as well. Adding an excessive weight, gaining so much weight increases your blood pressure. If you're not somebody who is physically active, for instance, every little thing you jump into the car, you drive from one place to another without actually exercising, you don't go to the gym, you don't do any kind of aerobics. So that also increases your high blood pressure. Smoking is also another reason you can have high blood pressure. People who smoke a lot tend to develop hypertension. By the way, when I say hypertension, it's the same thing as high blood pressure. So smokers tend to develop hypertension a lot. Even a lot of people who drink so much alcohol, too much alcohol. So basically, too much of everything in life is bad, right? So too much alcohol, too much smoking, they're all bad. I would never advise anybody to smoke anyways, because smoking is one of the worst risk factors you can have for many different diseases, including hypertension. So those are things that can cause high blood pressure, like I said. So if you control those things, if you stop smoking, if you exercise a lot, lose weight, eat balanced diet, more content of like vegetables rather than too much carbohydrates, which our people unfortunately are used to, like eating too much rice, carbs, So if you control your diet, control your smoking habits, control this bad habits, too much alcohol, I think your chance of high blood pressure will come down. I'm not saying it will completely eliminate it, because also when you get older, your vessels that carry your blood tend to be more hard, stiff, and then can also develop high blood pressure. But at least you can prevent some of these things I mentioned.
Interesting. We're learning a lot today. Ladies and gentlemen, did you all hear that? The doctor just said about our high blood pressure, talking about hypertension. He said we have to exercise a lot. Our food that we eat, the salt that we put in our food, we got to check it out. It's too much salt. It's not good for us. It's not good. As we aging, our health is very, very important. As we aging, we have to cut a little bit of the salt. Too much salt. If you have if you have a high blood pressure or hypertension, you have to please cut the salt. Try to do a lot of exercise. Exercise is very important for our health. Not only that, he said we have to watch what we eat. Thank you so much, doctor, for telling us, because I didn't know that. We're all learning from you. Even if I know, I still want to know more. Could you please tell me, can stress and mental health play a role in our high blood pressure?
Absolutely. That's also a big one. So there's a lot of studies out there that show that people who don't get enough sleep at night, or who are undergoing enormous stress, for instance, losing loved ones, constantly worrying about things that maybe is out of their control, sleeping very little, because normally you would expect somebody who, you expect like somebody who above 18, less than 65, to be sleeping somewhere around 7 to 8 hours, and somebody above 65 to be sleeping at least 8 hours. So getting enough rest is extremely important, because what that does is that when you are stressed out, when you have so much stress going on in your body, either caused by family situations or work related, so there are certain hormones that your body actually tends to bring out, and those hormones tend to act on the vessels that carry blood to different parts of your body. So, and they kind of change they change some certain things in those vessels that might cause those vessels to become more stiff and more hard, leading to you having high blood pressure. So definitely stress is a big one that can also cause high blood pressure without knowing. As a matter of fact, when I'm in the office, somebody who comes to see the doctor Sometimes they might not even they don't even have anything, like nothing in terms of diseases or sickness. But just for the fact that they're coming to see the doctor, right? That fear, I'm coming to see somebody on a white jacket, who's the physician. That fear alone, you notice it when they come to the hospital. They'll tell you, oh, I don't usually have high blood pressure. Then you measure their blood pressure; it's extremely high at that time. Then after they sit down for some time, before they go home, if you measure that blood pressure again, you realize that it's less. So that's to show you that stress alone, just that anxiety, that they are coming to see a physician, even though we've not said anything is wrong with them, causing their high blood pressure to go up. And then that same person, when they go home, guess what? If they measure their blood pressure at home, you'll see that their blood pressure is back to normal. So we also call something like that, we call it white coat syndrome, So we're very careful to kind of select those individuals because we know that their blood pressure went up just because of their anxiety, their stress of seeing a physician. So now you can imagine, just from this little story, somebody coming to see a doctor can have unnecessary stress. Then you can imagine somebody who is now constantly stressed out from different things, whether it's from work or from family situations. Then you can understand that can also lead to high blood pressure as well.
Amazing. Another question just popped up, doctor. Somebody just asked, are there any specific consideration for managing your high blood pressure, whether you're pregnant, especially women that are pregnant, or men or women, whether you can have any consideration in managing their high blood pressure? What is the best thing to do?
Actually, that's a great question. So normally when people, before we diagnose people of high blood pressure, we usually try to measure your blood pressure a certain number of times, sometimes 2 to 3 times, and not just in one visit. So let me give you an example. If somebody comes to see me in the clinic today for high blood pressure, if I measure your blood pressure, if it's above a certain number, the number we go by is 140, the high number, the top number, and the bottom number somewhere around 70 to 80. So if it's too high, for instance, what I do is I ask you all these questions, which is how you eat, you smoke, you're dieting, losing weight. So I go through all these lists that I've mentioned earlier. So if you check out on all of them, so what I'll do, I'll send you home. I'm not going to put you on the medication right away. I'll send you home and then I'll see you again in the clinic in 2 to 3 months. And then if you come back in 2 to 3 months, the blood pressure is still high. At that point, I might give you a machine, a blood pressure machine, to now measure your blood pressure at home. So that way I can eliminate, the white coat syndrome that I mentioned about. And then when you come back again the second time to see me, and then your blood pressure is still high, so your blood pressure at home is high and the one in the clinic is high, at that point, that's when we consider you having high blood pressure. Now, having said that, there are different medications you can use to treat high blood pressure. And we have so many of them, so I don't want to name all of them because some of these medications, people actually use it for other things, not just high blood pressure. But to clarify the question, so the medication that we use to treat people who, let's say, for instance, a man, compared to a woman who is pregnant, they are different because don't forget, a lot of medications we doctors give, they can actually pass the placenta when women are pregnant and go to the baby. So there have been a lot of studies that show that there are a few medications that we can use to treat high blood pressure which do not cross the placenta and affect the baby. Some of them can be alpha-methyldopa and beta blockers. But I don't want to go into all those details because it's something that I will always prefer for you to discuss with your doctor when that happens. But just be rest assured that the medications that we give people who are not pregnant are different than the medications that we give people who are pregnant because we know the risk and we know which medications pass through the placenta and get to the baby and can harm the baby. And we know which medications that do not pass through the placenta, which are safe to take through pregnancy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome, if you just joined us tonight, we are talking live from Adinkra Radio, live right now in all the social media, both Adinkra app, you could download the app right now, and as I said, you could also check us out on Instagram Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We are talking about high blood pressure tonight. We are talking about hypertension. So if you just join us, please welcome to join us tonight. Another question that just popped up, doctor. Thank you for answering all these questions. Another question just popped up. Could you share a success story of someone who's successfully managed their high blood pressure? Can you manage that, please?
Absolutely. There have been many stories, many successful stories about, high blood pressure management. So many of them. But I'll give you a typical scenario. So when I know many of you listened to my colleague Fatima, who presented hepatitis B in the last, I think, 2 to 3 weeks ago. So now we have this patient who came in originally for hepatitis B, just to screen for hepatitis B. So while she was there, we took her blood pressure at the same time because it's a doctor visit, right? So we took her blood pressure, and guess what? Her blood pressure was 180 over 100. So, like I said, normal blood pressure is 120 over 80. That's the normal blood pressure. So the top number is the 120, the down number is the 80. So the higher the top number or the bottom number, the more it becomes dangerous for somebody to start having complications of blood pressure. Now, this young gentleman, I think in the mid-50s, came to us for something else. We measured the blood pressure. Blood pressure was 180. That's too high.
Mm-hmm.
So he was not complaining of headache or any loss of vision or double vision. He was not complaining of anything. And that's the dangerous part about high blood pressure. Sometimes your blood pressure can be too high, you may not even feel it. And unfortunately, the first time you feel your blood pressure being too high, that's the time you might be getting a heart attack, you might be getting a stroke, or you might be dizzy, or you might have headache. So now, but this patient was completely symptom-free. He had no symptoms when he came. So we tested him for hepatitis B. And after the test, we now decided to measure his blood pressure because we do that to all our patients. And blood pressure was 180 over 100. So fortunately for him, he listened to us. We sent him to the emergency room. When he got down there, they gave him some medications that brought it down to 150, and then asked him to see his primary care doctor. So now he saw his primary care doctor, who now put him on other medications besides what we started him on, and then successfully, up to today, his blood pressure has come down to somewhere around 130 over 70.
Very good.
This is a life that we have prevented. That maybe, who knows, if he didn't come down there to get tested for hepatitis B, who knows, he would have had a stroke or heart attack.
Oh my goodness, we learned a lot today. Thank you so much, doctor. Without if you have a high blood pressure and you do have a machine at home, is it advisable to be checking your pressure every day?
So you would, if you have the machine at home, so for 2 reasons. One, the question is, do you have the machine at home because a doctor has diagnosed your high blood pressure? Or 2, do you have the machine at home because you're trying to prevent having high blood pressure? Now, let me answer this question in 2 different ways. So if you have been diagnosed with high blood pressure and your doctor asks you to use a machine at home, that's because the doctor expects you to measure your blood pressure twice a day, in the morning and somewhere in the evening. These measurements have to be consistent. It has to be the same time around the same time around every individual day. Meaning, if you choose to measure it by 8 o'clock, then let it be consistent. If you choose to measure by 9 p.m., let it be consistent. So that's one scenario. But if you're just measuring your blood pressure because you've not been diagnosed, but just want to prevent it, that's also okay. But I wouldn't advise you to be measuring at that point, to be measuring your blood pressure every single day, because you can become so attached and obsessed with blood pressure measurement, and then that can become also a problem. That can in turn actually stress you out also. So I would say measuring 2 to 3 times a week is not a bad idea, especially if you have any of these risk factors, which is you're a big smoker, you're obese, overweight, or you drink a lot of alcohol, or your father or your mother have genetically high blood pressure. So if you have any of these things, then it would be advisable to measure it maybe once or twice every week. But if none of this is the case, then I wouldn't advise you to measure it every day, because if you start that, you might become obsessed with measuring blood pressure, and we don't want that either, because that can in turn become a stress factor as well.
Great. Excellent point. Thank you so much. Another question that someone just asked: high blood pressure is a killer. He says high blood pressure or hypertension affect millions of people around the world. The person is asking, is it possible? Is there any? They call it as a silence killer. They refer to as a silence killer. Because of that, they are developing so much technology nowadays. Is there anything new that they could prevent, or something that could help out to prevent this disease that is spreading out?
So the reason why they call it a silent killer is because, like I mentioned, it's a lot of times high blood pressure does not tell you, it doesn't make itself known until something that is about to happen. A few percentage of people might have headaches, and then they'll measure their blood pressure and they realize that their blood pressure is high or even double vision. But ideally, a lot of people do not have symptoms, so their blood pressure can keep going up and up and up, even to like 200, and they'll still not feel anything, and that's extremely dangerous. So that's why they call it silent killer, because by the time that person comes to the clinic, maybe the patient came in as a stroke, someone who has a stroke, and things like that. So now, what are the new things that you can use to prevent it? Actually, the things to prevent high blood pressure are the things that we already know, and which are the things that we've gone through, which are the risk factors. If you prevent the risk factors for high blood pressure, if you, instead of, for instance, every day you go to work, you come home, you eat, and you go to bed, maybe 3 or 4 times in a week, if you go home, instead of just eating and going to bed, you can as well decide to take a walk around your neighborhood, walk for like 30 minutes, do some aerobic exercise, or even go to the gym. Spend like 30 minutes. A lot of studies have shown that just spending 30 minutes every day of your life will make you not to be overweight. And don't forget, being overweight, being obese is one of the risk factors for high blood pressure. So there are not really any new technologies that is out there that prevents people from having high blood pressure. But the thing is this: the consistency in trying to prevent the risk factors of high blood pressure, which is less salt. Do not put salt in already cooked meal. Do not eat a lot of carbohydrates. For instance, eating too much rice, too much fufu, all these things. So because they have a lot of carbohydrates. Another one I need to mention is eating very late at night. The reason why you should not eat late at night is this: during the day, you tend to move around. So when you eat all this big food, you move around and your body can metabolize them and break them down to use it for energy. But guess what? If you come back home at night, late at night, by 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, just like myself, and you start eating fufu, that's extremely bad, because you're not giving your body enough time over the night to actually break it down, because after eating that fufu, you're just going to bed, or eating rice, you're going to bed, so you don't have time to actually break it down. So in summary, there's nothing new that will prevent you from having high blood pressure. But the thing that we keep talking about again and again, just like our program, we developed this program where we go to different communities to educate people about high blood pressure. So the Starfish program from Montefiore, besides hepatitis B, another thing we do is that we go to different communities, different churches, different mosques, educate people, just like I'm doing right now, about high blood pressure and what we can do to prevent it. So these are the only two we have so far that can help us to attack this silent killer. But there's no new technology out there that can help us other than controlling the risk factors.
Great advice. Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? There's a program going out there that can help us. Me, you, everywhere. You can just go to Montefiore Hospital. There's a program called Starfish Program. When you get to Monte, you can ask Montefiore Hospital in the Bronx. You can ask for Starfish Program. This doctor, that our gentleman that said, he's a doctor from Montefiore Hospital. He's a cardiologist. And you're doctor or you're cardiologist or you're akoma. Eya surgery. Mestre say mini bi dodo na wo yare ni bi. Dodo na ewo high blood pressure. Aye friend no hypertension. So doctor kacho so will be a Mestre say bomodian say obeye exercise. Doctor ne say yenye exercise. Exercise we ya papa. We exercise ni ya we didi emu. Esichire anase enchine no susu fawo unu aduane na mesre se enchine no won bebra osima yendi Mislo enchini ni chong aduane mu a kase no me wa high blood pressure ntinchini no kra ewe aduane ntimi ndi. Mislo bebre hwe wapo mu din mu hiye ehu hia ye papa me say o life your precious and until the program ye and you know so what join ye kase free Adinkra Sabre Adinkra Radio Science TV unim program no kra unim media ye dia ye can about health and business Miss Rose say your doctor if mounty your friend Dr. Emmanuel or no na aba church ya pomodin efa your high blood pressure do your friend silence killer. Your friend is silence killer. Ya really will be cry who person will be. I just say wako check it. Mestre say you minia but modern say Uboko hospital and Abeko who primary doctor and your primary care physician PCP. Uko huna catch me so social so who will have blood pressure. Mestre say exercise or see a modern see about exercise. Doctor, thank you so much. That was a great advice. And somebody just asked he or she has a surgery and the person would like to know if he can do exercise. He can still do an exercise to check whether he has a high blood pressure. I told her not only the exercise, by exercising you have to go to the doctor for the doctor to diagnose you to know whether you have a high blood pressure. But the doctor, even if the doctor tells you try to exercise, the person is asking, can you please tell her that can she still do the exercise although she just had a surgery? She just came out from the surgery room about 2 weeks ago. She has a high blood pressure and she just want to know if an exercise is good for her.
Absolutely. So I don't know what kind of surgery that is, but if it's not a surgery that has to do with the legs, and so we'll always advise people that when they after surgery, yes, I don't expect you after surgery to start going to the gym 4 times a week. That would be very unreasonable. But what we always tell people is based on how your body allows, then exercise. Meaning, if you are somebody who goes to the gym for like 30 or 40 minutes, and after surgery you're too tired and you go for 10 minutes, that's okay. You cannot push your body over its limit because you're going to break down. But with time, your body will get used to what it used to do and go back to its normal self. So you can always exercise, even simply walking around your neighborhood, which can take you 20, 30 minutes, just a few steps. Don't forget, exercise is not only when you go out jogging. Exercise is not only when you go to the gym and start carrying weights or start doing aerobics or you go and start swimming. No. Exercise can even be just walking around your neighborhood for 30 minutes, just on normal steps. In fact, there are people who show that there are a lot of studies that are showing that people who walk around when they walk, for instance, myself, I don't sit down when I walk. I'm walking around in the hospital. You're actually exercising because you're burning a lot of calories. You're just walking around, talking to patient. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is, even if you cannot do that big exercise like going to aerobics or going to the gym to spend so many hours and minutes, so you can just walk around your neighborhood for 30, 40 minutes, even while talking on the phone or while chatting with a friend, you can walk around. That's also an exercise. Walking around for 30 minutes 5 times a week is huge. It can help you decrease your weight. It can help you to prevent other things like even diabetes. It can help you to prevent other things for having high blood pressure as well. So yes, you can exercise. You start small and keep growing as your body allows you.
It's an excellent point. The doctor just told us we have to exercise. Exercise is the most important thing in our life. We need to exercise a lot. Although it's getting closer to winter, we maybe can go outside if you're on pension or if you are not working, whether you are home or you are working or not, you could even exercise at home. Doctor, somebody just asked, is there any medication that he or she could use to prevent the hypertension?
So we don't typically start people on medications to prevent hypertension, but rather we start your medications once we have diagnosed you of hypertension. So there is no, according to the USA guidelines, can't just start giving you medications because I want to prevent you. Because no, don't forget, the job of the medications is to decrease your blood pressure, right? So if you're not hypertensive, meaning we've not diagnosed with high blood pressure, if we give you those medications, that can actually reduce your normal blood pressure, make it lower, and that can become another problem. We're talking about high blood pressure, hypertension, high blood pressure, but don't forget, low blood pressure is also a problem. As a matter of fact, when we've started blood medications for high blood pressure and they're going too low, we might think that we're giving them too much and we might go down doses. So now you can imagine, if you don't have hypertension and we're giving you medication for hypertension, so that's not a good practice because we can bring down your blood pressure even lower and then you can even syncopise, meaning you can collapse. So we don't treat people who don't have high blood pressure, we only treat those who have high blood pressure with medications.
Thank you for sharing such a great health advice for us tonight. Another thing that somebody just asked, the person would like to know if there's any technology nowadays that just came, since we have different apps coming up that he or she could learn to know much about high blood pressure.
Well, you don't need to go far with apps. You can also Google high blood pressure. I used to be a fan of telling people not to Google a lot of things because a lot of things that is said in a Google is not always right. But in this case, if you want to learn about high blood pressure, you can also put it on Google and see what it tells you. But the paramount thing is this: if you want to learn about high blood pressure, besides me talking to you, is when you always go to your doctor's office to have a chit chat with your doctor about high blood pressure. So, because sometimes things that can be written in different media might be incorrect. So, I always advise people, if you read something in the internet or read something anywhere in the media, if you're kind of unsure, take everything with a grain of salt. Don't take everything that you take from the media. Ask your doctors, which is one of the reasons why I'm here today. So, ask your doctor, let them explain, because sometimes people that write a lot of these things in the media, they're not really physicians. So, and they might write things that are inaccurate. So, I think my best response would be, when you read something about high blood pressure, whether it's an app, I myself, I don't know of any particular app, but I know my patients, they read a lot in the internet before they even come to talk to me. But just remember, at the end of the day, no matter what you read, or when you come to your doctor, always ask your doctor, and your doctor will give you the best information about high blood pressure, so that way there won't be any misinformation from the media.
Great advice. Somebody just asked, we are coming to the end of our show, but I would like to just ask the question before we come to the end of the show. Somebody just asked, he just a layman, he doesn't know anything, he just go to the doctor said everything is fine, but he feels some symptoms in his body. Is there no way to detect, to see how can he find out that he has a high blood pressure?
Excellent question. It's very easy, which is what the Starfish program does, actually. So, if you go to your doctor's office next time, just tell them to measure your blood pressure. Every time you go to your doctor's office, actually, I think 99% of the time, your blood pressure should be checked. And when your blood pressure is checked, ask them, how high was it? They are supposed to tell you how high your blood pressure was. And then when you see your doctor, this is after the nurse checks your blood pressure. And when you see your doctor, you can tell, I have that number that the nurse told you, you can tell your doctor, oh, hello doc, they said my blood pressure was X, Y, and Z, 100/70 or 120/50. What do you think about it? Is that high? Is that low? Then you start to educate you about it. So that's the best you can do to check your blood pressure, because every single office has a blood pressure machine, every doctor's office. So I can guarantee you, the first thing that they do when you come to doctor's offices, unless I'm wrong, is to actually check your blood pressure. And then that way they can know if it's high or not. And then it's also your duty to now bring it up to the doctor and say, is my blood pressure okay? And then that way your doctor can address you even further regarding that high blood pressure. Also, this is also where the Montefiore Starfish comes in. So we're running a program at Starfish, the Starfish program, which initially started as a campaign against hepatitis B. But when people come to hepatitis B program and the Starfish program, we also check their blood pressure, because we realized that this silent killer is killing our brothers and sisters in our community, and we're doing our best to educate our brothers and sisters and to stop this from happening.
We're coming to the end of our show tonight. Thank Thank you so much, doctor, for helping us to know much about our health matters. Remember, your well-being is your priority. So, ladies and gentlemen, we give a big thanks to our precious doctor that was here tonight to teach us a lot. Remember, hypertension or high blood pressure is a silent killer. It is a silence killer. As the doctor said earlier, it's a silence killer, and we need to take care of ourselves. We have to eat good. We have to exercise. As the doctor said, we have to make sure as we're getting older, it's getting winter time, as we're getting older, we still have to walk. Even if you can't do the exercise, you need to walk. Walk in your apartment, walk in your house, walk in your area where you work at. Even if you're not working, even if you're a pensioner, just walk around your apartment, walk around your house, walk around your neighborhood. Do not sit and eat and sleep. No, it's not the best advice. Again, thank you so much, doctor, for joining us tonight. Doctor, a last question. Which part in Starfish program, can you please discuss a little bit about the Starfish program that we can join? Or is there a program that we can join?
So the Starfish program was geared towards hepatitis B, like my colleague Fatima mentioned 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So where we basically screen people regarding another silent killer, which is the virus hepatitis B. So we started this program by realizing that a lot of our brothers and sisters are having liver cancer for reasons we couldn't understand, and we found out that many of them have this virus called hepatitis B. So we started to investigate, and we started to go around the community speaking about hepatitis B. So now we've been able to speak to so many people. I think more than 4,000 to 5,000 Africans we've reached through churches, mosques, what have you. So now we've started a second program called the hypertension program, which is a branch of the Starfish program. So basically what we do is that we screen people when they come to the office to do hepatitis B. In addition, we check their blood pressure, and if your blood pressure is high, we refer you to a doctor. Most times we refer you to an African doctor also who we work with, so that way they can familiarize yourself better and feel also more comfortable if that helps you. And then who will not take care of you, most likely become your primary care physician and guide you also to help you make sure that blood pressure doesn't get elevated.
Again, thank you so much. We appreciate your excellent teaching us so much about hypertension tonight. Doctor, is there a phone number or is there an address that you could tell us so we can visit, although we see our primary care physician, that's our PCP, or as a second opinion we could come over there and just see you guys? Is there a number or address that you could put on board?
Yes, the number is the same as the one Fatima or Marifilo has. I don't know if you still have the address. Otherwise, I'll have resend it to you. It's the same. Starfish is the same program as hepatitis B. Hepatitis B program is part of the Starfish program. Hypertension is part of the Starfish program. So I can send you the number. I can send you Fatima's number. And if you're interested to come to screen for high blood pressure, you're always welcome. The address is still the same at Montefiore, 210 at Montefiore. And I'm more than happy to share that number with you and also share that address with your viewers as well. I'll send it to you as soon as we're done with the program.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we give a big thanks to our doctor, Dr. Emmanuel from Montefiore Hospital, talking to us tonight. We appreciate you so much, doctor. We will see you in a couple of weeks. I'll make sure we contact you, and then for educating us, we're going to come back to you again. Again, thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Have a blessed day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yo, ebusiafo yenya Dr. B Efri Montefiore. Last week yenya another Dr. B Oboni ebetrecheni hepatitis B. Efa yapomudi ya liver ho obeka ho asem kakra. Ene yebeka about high blood pressure. High blood pressure and hypertension and sign silence killer. Mestre say nyina bomodin say ye bedi eduane pase de meka no na ya exercise said your kan no na bomodin ko hu doctor Mr. Bebri, Mr. Papa, wapomudi hu hia. Your life is precious. And anyway, medamasi bebre se etiefo mode maso etie mi medamasi me dia hobrase edo bibiase mesanda eye ekuku a ewo America ha se muni ho bini ho medamasi me fansfo mesanda wasi bebre se mode ahobrase etie ye. Big shout to omo cancer nyame ya domo this month eye October month eye breast cancer awareness month eye cancer awareness month nyame ya domo ye benya doctor baba be chechere eye cancer yare no eku nipa bebre high blood pressure enu nso eku nipa bebre obitimi da on sorry obi okwa adwuma opon baaye wo otoho wan sorry en stress ye yempese ebi betu ye mu biara enti ye momodin se ye benante ye didia yenda ye benante not only nantie pe ye be ko checki ya pomudin e wore doctor ho se the doctor ne be ka kire ye no o se ye momodin se ye be ko hu ye doctor udi e uni insurance kra ko starfish program for ne ho on be ya ma free o so obi biara oni insurance kra mobile o mo be show e free e was starfish e wa hifa e wa Montefiore hospital o mo program o mo de mayin for free it is said mesrese e mayare enka won hye e mayare enyeme bi wa ye betimi a prevent ya entempa no na ya prevent madam osibebri enenimwe ye sawo ye program ye friend health and business ye sawo papa bia ye nua bema esaye ne papa esaye busiani esaye ye dofo osi oni e ba betwetwe nkomo enimwe efa business ewo Ghana not only America happy ye sisi adan ewo Ghana beboana minya emise majority ye sisi adan ewo Ghana said the dachi ye kofia yebenya da bi di etia den ato onyame ma enkwa ene ahode to ye ya o yesrese oto ye nsem na sika no kakraka yetimi di bi ko ye bibi we fie yeda ya yesi menu ni enu ekwa den so ni efa ye wo yini abeme bi wa ha ewo Ghana o se na nadwi onna oba be chreche ye nieme bia ye betimi aye ye sika ewa ha na siesi ekosi dan ewo fie anase ye sika wa ha na yesi ye di ma ebusuani anadanfo bi aye dan na man na se we nya ni papa anya dan na mawa omutimi fa usika no bebe atu ye nyina nanso ye besrese enne no niema asesa enedie ewiase na asesa. There is so many technology eko so mesrese ye be sisia ne mebi nyanse ni obaku fruit eti e ba be invite ye ni abema no ama ne akase nyimre life emreko kakra na so osi ne onda oni e beba betwetwe nkomo be ba be frɛ ye ni abema ni ene na akasa na wa kyerɛkyerɛ ye eniema omo ye wo Ghana say programming enye only health people yesi kasam no nso hihia ye koni ye ba eniema esase ye dubenye sika ekoye befa so enye sika ni nyina mesi me bema financial literacy nyame adomo de nkwache ya financial literacy ni baba be chreche other side hustle jobs ye betimi aye enye sika eti ye weni obema wa ha osi oni ebeka sa wo phone so enti moma me few minutes obeba line so no oni ya abeka sa ewe yenu abema White Temple Agency omo wo Ghana omo si omo die building materials nkwa no moton na onu akasa director no eba ni abeka sa waka tuyefo wachire ekwan ye befa so enye sika ene kwan ye befa so atoto niema eti ye we ni abema efri Ghana oni e ba be kasa sabri ye ni abema ye ma wakwa aba nyame adom enyumre busi afo se de meka ye ni ye we ni abema ewo White Temple Agency me paucho uko Google na obo White Temple Agency ube hu ne live Google, Instagram, okoso abehu White Temple Agency Limited, Ghana. White Temple Agency Limited, Ghana. Oboton building materials. Yeni abema yama wakwaba. Yo. Nyame adom ye wa America ha emise Sabwe Adiasa ye wa ha about 9:05 p.m. Ewa ha ye kasa live free Adinkra multimedia esaye TV Instagram Facebook Twitter live abusuafo nyina anya ya susi ye tie o enimwe tie nia bepa ucho you go introduce yourself kakra na wa kire edwumadi a enimwe opese o kire
for me about Pia Ajo, a friend, Mr. Owusu, Managing Director, White Temple Agencies Limited. Me Kwapini, a company no head office, Accra, Pia Ukuku, just White Temple, a bit lead straight to Arena, Debbie Avenue, General Hospital Road. Next to the parish church, and then I had to Google Map. Into Google Map, your website to Google and the mother version to our streets. I feel Obebi says White Temple and the company back. White Temple. Ye chuma ye tipa roofing. Say ne ye can't bear for roofing na open number one ukuku na ukasa open best roofing companies. I will Ghana. White Temple one number one now number two. Upo video side so ubi way. Near me cast uko kukula open home here. Ubi home is family education. Your video side metro we are a year papa and fake ones and quality ones and the Jumaiti pa near Tsupa and only roofing but we roofing everywhere. White Temple is say roofing no year quality in tea. Bempi, Rihanna for Ebisas or Dami Susu, yes, I roofing, windows, a bad day, and indeed, taking care of windows and mouth. The roofing, the windows, I feel when we windows will be person will be secure, and also White Temple, collapsible security grills. A burglar proof. Your friend of Temple Guard. Company near White Temple. I feel your burglar proof, your friend of Temple Guard. A guard. I feel I know what you know. And so to the quality security doors every decade about. And say, Ghana. Now pay. Security doors are a papa. We Israeli doors are. Nay, Turkey security doors. Yeah, the papa eba. The White Temple, Ubinya roof. Yeah, Kata would dance Ramon. Nafi Yakata won't to Kuano. Near secure burglar proof. Nafi Yatum from a muso. Amo. I feel Uria, and yet they are Bepe, Baby, Ubija 9, Wake Carry, and also by White Temple, WCs, Jacuzzi, Papa Pipa, we know Kazay, who could White Temple, who says I knew Mania, the new Echigram, and Pempi, no pure bars, Miss America, no London, no Germany. Now, medical mania, ya no mind basa. Juma Baku Pass a project management. No person take you by the time, na ye yamano. Ye between our popo, IEPPR supervisor, Amo. And in that Juma, the son is saying, Yacha went to end the way. I've been in in the business for about 30 years plus. And until our experience, na any confoy jumanti ubaya ya work ya carpenters are Oma and the boy and ya go for carpenters in free baby every year be ye renew roof na ya mauno ya mount guarantee 50-year warranty product. Tia baba money to be a guarantee amount. You were electricians, so may POP, plumbers. It is Uber White Temple are necessary who say what to fear obey to me NCC. It is not Juma Yidi in short.
Yo, any other no yada wasi with me. Eme say waka dodona waka about White Temple near ma omo ye. But amount for a bisa questions kakra ewaha. Or see, almost see a beginning no. Eme say ye sit down wo fie kind no now disika mani fie na ebusiafo anase odofu bi ana wudie bi aya amount. Almost say nimisa say ubibisa say opaucho bebre eye building materials na motunton say no person types ben ena motunton say fani say o sini dan na say ono aka say ni ho na busuani ni ho a obekwa akoshe dan no ama no ana say ni bi ni ho ana na downfu bi ni ho a obekoshe edan na ama no abehwe materials na moton na ye wakwentu mu ekwan be so na obefa abewu sa materials no ena de tosuminu osimimisa say obosire bebre eye types ben eda motonton eba edan finishing so wo ye dan finishing bedawase
the whole Ghana here represented Fair Roof, a Korean company, producing Yomano Korea near Deba. Yen representing company no Ghana. And the product near authentic quality. It fans a young uncle for percent. And yet in here for percent almost so why you careful what to fake ones? And until now, best ready for say who call your website one now go your friends a video side who say me education who be as a major near fake ones and in near authentic ones. And the Juma Yidi the son say a GT. Now you are ratio say a product a quality, a 50 years guaranteed, a mount, a Boria, a mount certificate, a ma winyan that so, except for the next 50 years, roof no air rusty, a will be besides that, you can't stone coated, no cry, and on anything. I will say, Abenfu, roofer, I said they are near covered and a cushion. We Italian granite shipments and a custo. Product Nankasa, a friend of gal value. The gal value, no which I say we are poor, heating and famun quasi. In the air was a 1 year ceiling cry, heat and can was near Tusumino, saying you pa. Send your other roofs so better crack, what dynamo. We near womb, window no more said you, and talk. I said noise about better, and then you know, and you're correct. Yes, and you're fireproof. And unlike other products, if you are jato, if you're nemu, never the other side. There be at this a fee, the chat or crown, we rusty, a sign noise free, heat resistant, and a color no, and so for the rest of your life, it be stay, sanity.
Yo, abusuafo mo ti die eni abemani kai or see a company ni wo for 30 years, over 30 years. Omoye White Temple Agency e Ghana. Almost see we see who die e Ghana. Na so wo pese uye roofing no esro ho, wo pese uye roofing na e ho no esro pe quality materials papa ebe lasti ache enye de oye ya na asanse ni biu yemi abema se bomodi anse obeko White Temple Agency ho no obebo modi se ubenya quality one na se wivi wednia ana wabusuani bi kura ni wo ana wadanfo bi kura ni wo obeko hwe ho amawa wo from a ombayi. Yo, yemi abema yeda wasi bebre. Obi sen bisa say, do you offer variety brands? A year different brand. A year roofing. Omo different brands. Any products options ana.
Okay, but I say, baby, no, yeah, na, yeah, besa, yeah, be confuse customer no, and nunti, yeah, brand no, and only fair roof no. One brand, and no, a guaranteed. And Bessa will be confused. What you know, Bell and Danta, and the fair roof, a White Temple, and they represent fair roof of Ghana. And only here, the product, nothing that also mean no percent the roof, no, or per shingle. Shingle no nature say na a colors me no black and white. Ibo say blue and black. Ibo say a wine and a black. And now say one color. And only difference are a woman ya offer nina open charcoal grey and now black and now wine color open opisa here. Yeah, the colors are winning Bema no washe. I feel okay website also. Who say I you might be Ubia Wabaka Nabia Uko Lisa Hotel. Who say any a boy your word Numa Aya Bama parliamentarians that were not rich. They can be yeah a bit easy. Ama at here for the other four. I feel your website also your number play samples no ewo ho and no one say obef maybe chemicals 24/7 na ofre me a me secret American no call at any time.
Yo, mida si bebre. Obi bisa say are there any minimum order? Say auto enema na and types of enema ben and auto.
Sure, sir, Ubia Usidaya, what they are to be discussing in the and yet they are wire roof plan, wire building plan. So, building plan, Ushimu Babu said, what draw roof from what I know, send your roof no ABCI Alpha. In the won't see that ground, wouldn't him send your what I know, a bay, the Victoria view. Which photo no. A roof no now WhatsApp mommy and no answer we do with him. We email address and maybe a project no more and no number account. You be estimate no until you be more in we as an we have cost. Roof no so send your roof no have cost. Who was you be offer bit on where and your problem. You be more details no. Send your whole America crowd wow be who say metal we are 2x6 metal 2x4 2x2 who provide the money and pay
Yo, ebusiafo se min sandi sase almost bebre say only roofing sheets nko na uton anase uton other building materials down ho for finishing.
Yo, send me the me that's me the no. Yeah, apart from roof no, yeah windows, quality windows. Toku apa ti ya bo dan so awie no. You better have windows amount. Now, you burglar proof amount. So when you say, so when you have windows and you burglar proof, I'll go wires and I come for better train. You better secure dialogue. Now, we have windows and the burglar proof now. Yes, I the security doors, a free techie, ever. Ya bow dying so ya mount to go ya secure one more burglar proof. I feel as I have to die no more security doors, papa. I feel a more baby so who be down nine no way jarry and yet the bruises, papa. And the baby I'll be jarry a jacuzzis and near Chiramu near Damonina. Ya woni Sabiopia wa America na wa popra o befia as I say o feed baby o krawo o share nyoma ya we and you just ordinary one say quality Tanzania or America will be super papa tenajuma idea.
Yo, yenya bema ebusiafo si edawasi bebre. Another question will be bisa say, mo any payment plan ana ye betimi aye for the say or church sikarin kakra because se we asi aye din ska ho aye din. Opeso who say in case no church sikarin kakra ewia na se sikano edosu edu amount na esese oditua then you many in area. Mobetibi ajeno installment plan kakra cause say obeke keskana boom na wetimi abefane niyama ana.
Yo, me dance papa pasa. I said Messiah will be saying ya papa pampi. Ya na etfo for a dream was na me day. White temple. Yeah, proper establishment. Your account department. Sepan is only 18 kitawu. Na agree. Yeah, mouse say roof. And mawa. Na sa wunye ready and officer would keep your accounts now. Would you you bet me a P accounts amount. So get P out with piano. The amount of receipts. The account. A true 70% you become site na ya kwa ama obi wo say obi so the person made 3 or 4 months and then the border so man the day and also you know decision na piamo account say piamo to which you a true 70% you become site ya kwa no and say over my contact person na you bet me and then they didn't get down. Your consigned to Okosha, then the materials on the pool. Yapapa Yevo, Edua. Baby, and they say, I'm prosaic, you're quiet down. Just here, and sunny and free. Maximum, Yabun Riano, na Yabo Rufuno, up Proswana 3 weeks. Baby, at the 2 weeks, Ebo in Riano. The 1 week I am roofing. Let's just say I am complete.
You were here for some tea and you may and say in your bemana church you dear or see at least money 3 weeks na obey bibia nyame adoma na some money 3 weeks say omunko enkonko ye dwuma mawa adwuma no mbe ne fefe kama ama weni aso osa ebusuafo se bisa se omusre bebre se anyebia moye so mama obi aba be ye estimate ewo adwuma ne ho amana eya na e free ananse mo charge.
Okay, so as a say ya papa MP no son say ya roof a specialized area inti so with the roof plan no am ya pay estimate number free I ain't your couple. Nemo se pano say was you Oma Bundianwari into moon confa measurement and no a tube pick a for transport. I bako na ya Akakoye estimated amount a greater Accra in my 500 Ghana cities are Yabako Yakako picking measurement. But what the roof plan of money Yabeyama free. But outside Accra, Greater Accra regional, and no Yana Utia 1,000 Ghana cities, and also a bit to car, the quantities of years no Ako, no Mako picking measurement no and again, I'm sure for Messiah can say, Dino, I would to move, say, war. Axim and answer our aflaw. Once I in Sabeka roof plan, you're paying in amount free of charge. A wow grammar automated planning. Pempi, Yana roof plan, what am I here? I just was and answer, or may see Dino, or Master plan no elfen. Yana a 95% correct. And there be a difference about Kakrabi. Obu, why ya plan a mamma, or quite so maybe dino mukakra. I don't know, that's almost a mema roof also. I also because a dynamo baby and your back above affected as also. Dinner
Yo, Mr. Ye brakofi o se yen kan kire busuafo se edan no se wo pese ye be ye estimate o ye ma wa obema enkrofo akoye estimate na ma for free e wo Greater Accra ye Accra mentam wo nyina ediba eye Accra ehefa abusuafo se ni sase ehefa e wo Accra efi dodowa akosombo tema anase mokola ho ediko kaswa spinters ediko insawom kwemu wana.
Okay, mami saying Timothy make a Greater Accra, let's say the whole Accra and its environs.
Oh good.
Accra important munina afi ekotema enyina se Greater Accra ase intisa eho nyina no one say what the roof plan my are free be everywhere in Ghana. Nemo say Greater Accra over my 500 Ghana cities. I don't know Ebeko be Greater Accra ne yakako take measurement ebema quantities of years. But the reason why as I say a cost site no say what in Riagusua. So we find Riagusua roof plan no enough. Am I a bit me there? I'm about to me planning.
Yo abusiafo o si eye free e wo Greater Accra ene ewiase ayedin sika ho ayedin na se obi ka cho say oba abeye estimate na ma for free enye companies ni nyina ene ye for free our Ghana ba o si uko White Temple Agency on be estimate ni nyina ma for free so wo the whole Greater Accra regional on be estimate na amount for free ye abusiafo ye momodi say ye di ye djuma ebeko White Temple Agency omobeye udan amount estimate no for free etiye nwane se ebobo modi ase ye beko ho akoye question bi ma samba abusiani bibisa se osre bebre se eya na prices na eyesen.
Okay, but I say say roofing this the roof no almost on bundle and no almost to me so ba yetaku one bundle yetaku and na say some poor but one say architect no a draw roof plan no na or the accessories near the na asisi inti say what the roof plan no my here my quantities of years no no on the architect no omote omuase nti the architect no draw no or the ase the beba ya hu say ube here tiles be say bia 100 pieces and 1,000 pieces na accessories are what the back ka wa madan no ayefe ensuni afi accessory how the be shebe bi sani ensu nkodan ni mu aha what the beto ano ni nyina ebo roof plan nti ye nsaka roof plan no ebe ma ye hu details no ni ya ye estimate no ama obi die ebe different every obi but ye nsaka estimate roof plan no ebetumi I interpret na ya ama
yo abusiafo moti yenu abema eye White Temple Agency almost say roofing no eye den eye free oba yebe yamo eye Greater Accra obi bisa say apart from Greater Accra eye Accra hodina mutimi call other regions other Accra eye outside Accra ho ekoko ye adwuma ema enkrofo ana
wow. So about between roofing the White Temple near Kwabija Naya Kwakoyama. Your roof no and yet roof I had the boss secret roofing. Oma a boss secret roofing no my main term say boss secret roofing at Chabros by 10 years. That's I think how I dream. And the Pempi, na all sit and wear advice. Secret roofing there, and yet they have a mouth problem. At Chaboswa 10 years. And he see a mouse advice and the church remove I'm a woman near and near any. To see how one more day in a day. A bed, my woman, now say, what your paper and a bit of sacrifice. A boss who bones one boss who am out that problem.
Not just say abusian for your secret roofing no after 10 years and a hoot me bassem 80 year bebo modin say yeah see 80 million so in your Bema White Temple Agency say secret roofing no 80 million 80 a kwan ben so any ebefa so anya eye roofing papa edi yedi aboye dan so if you say secret roofing yes acha 10 years na expire 10 years na holding swati 10 years nso to etimi ko secret roofing ni mo etimi nia o ma yengire ye ho enne sika ho aye din asetra na ye din na nso ye be si ye dan ni dia kakra na ebe ka na ye de be ko ye dan ye make sure say ye be to roofing papa edi aye dan no yo abusiafo eme se emreko obi bisa se opese oba Ghana but ontimi emma sisi osimi misal se opacho bebri se owaha eye America ha ana owakwentu mu baby other country a obetimi akontate mo ana na ekwan ben so na obehu eniema no awatimi ato na owie so a matimi a supply niema no akogu ni fie a make sure say bibia dedi no bisa say trust wo mu ana obetimi diska na fa mo so na mwetimi aya amanana.
Yo, many of my metas, papa. Me, I mean, no, because I said you, many a figure crab, many fear at you see me, no, and the met me amount guarantee. There's yeah, many rough. I feel that to so me, no. Say, a man say, no, didn't get a woman, I have my account. How will be to your Alpha Bank? Now, when you receipt, as a word to you. Now, if you would a copy no has send it. Now, yes, we are now here official receipt. I'm waiting me and keep it for without the reference. Not just I feel there to so emu. Say, my location, no, maybe a dine or what. Ye pass ye na contact person no ye be ma ya crofo akwa kohwe baby a dan no nti ye din kita ho awie no na fe ya dispatch materials e ko site wo ye di akwa ye dwuma ye ka say se ebia obi pese ne sakan ya obo Ghana code like +233 me number ya 0243 284859. My main sign must be Ghana code near +233 no about 243 284859. Was that coming? The PR 24/7. Say, oh, friend, Nasa man, Mansanka, Ebianami, Gary, Ebia Sabionami, co training, and not Bibiatisa, the who are married and no corner. It at any time piano, who are sure at the say, Miss Okra, the Befrel back. And no one is a Obesania roof plan by WhatsApp. You pay estimated near the amount free of charge. I feel so open so Google White Temple Agencies. Open a website, and also at Google direction. At ABC office, head office, great. Social media handles in Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, maybe Google White Temple. I be pop up and change who bet me grounds as small Pia when you know Ghana so Munko, Namunko, say White Temple, what now? Your arena, Children Hospital Road, and also Debbie Avenue. Adjacent to the parish church now, a arena, and next to a sewage man plywoods. Who do arena now? Casa will White Temple, a collab so not the Waba arena, lorry station, nature pay a White Temple.
Yo, and it's the last question will be Bisa say, your friend is saying, Ghana, say, or Ghana, say, Sia, Nase, or Pese, or Ba. White Temple Agency address no or see plot 65 near Debbie Avenue Ghana near Arena Lorry Park no so okwa obehu White Temple Agency yewo Accra ubo modern ko ho a ubehu omo beboa o ubibia o ye even wuni abusuani anawni adamfo bi anaw trust obi a enne somebody to trust na ye o say trust you oba omo be ye estimate number free ubisa ana o friend number na o se ne number no o de ma obibia 24/7 number ni ye 024-328-4859 024-328-4859 uria o say friend 24/7 ufrena White Temple Agency enemre mu nipa dodo sen ena ye CEO e companies mo a omudu omo phone number ma out ono de odi phone number ma no osefre no unsi dan wo Ghana upe nia abobo dan so from a omo say uye we estimate bibia wo hwehwe from a omo baba benye estimate number for free enia no crap no ubisa se omo ma unia emfa more dan so unjo kwan obefa so edi nia no egu dan so nyina ombecho uwie a waye enia na wie roofing no so omo so ombeboa ama roofing no wetimi aye apiki roofing papa ebe last enye roofing ya okofa ene ya na roofing no acha 10 years na asay dabi we the roofing ebe last ache eye quality free around world watoto any materials papa we anya no penso eye roofing ni po we are sliding doors Udino sliding doors or se ko White Temple Agency ebusia for se o join ye nyumre ya ye ka about White Temple Agency ye ka business ewo Ghana mesrese White Temple Agency obundai sadwe omuni ye twetwen komo all the way from Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, we are glad to have White Temple Agency omo boye akire ye kwan ye betimi afaso esisi ye dan no anye bia ebusuafo se obi bi esini dan enye only sliding doors enye doors pe enye only finishing me pe bibia wi awodane ho osi ubisana omobeboa mo apeke quality ones ebeye wodane ye ombasa boa so person di sika no ekogu wa na account mu eye foreign account eye business account eye personal account we the business account o friend contact me directly osi obeboa ama wakasa weni age wodane no quality jacuzzi wo person here jiweni me say life is too short but modern say we sit down papa na dadan papa mu abrochire ya bre ya tie nim fefre abre entil modern say ye sit down ye be use quality materials e dey aye dan no abusuafo ebisa say obi bisa question bi aba osime misal say anya bia wa betra Ghana sesia na oye ejuma opesi ohu ejuma onye anya bia osese oba na obefa materials ni bi nasa osi oton ewo Ghana we be store ewo Ghana anya bia obema ne discount ama net media aton no makacho se programming is about health and business obisa se obetimi ama ne materials ni bi aton Ghana obema ne discount rate such a way obenya profit ana business no
business no na ya say e suitable na ye be ma discount e be ma watimi eni aton pepepe enti e ma wo de enko eni mo nche ye ma discount e be ma ye comfortable it is anity and na ye provide with technical support obi about or person about a dime so or the roof plan about what they send here or head of officer they be estimating amount now they are my customer now yes your profile distributors how many a year juma na you know so at obi happy and it's a big family to buy you be welcome.
You abusian for yes health and business be a pie baby o et moment to mika and asetra na yedin se nyame ya dum na radito nkwa nem na omoska egu nsamwa omodin se obekoye business yibi na emfaso ewo mu emaye ndidi njaye yesi ye besuesua nyansa ni obakofo tim unim bibia wa betro ni oni aso di bibia wa kire ni yonko yeni akofi nyame shall bebre ya dawasi bebre eye White Temple Agency enyumre busianfo samo join ni enyumre ya eye Adinkra radio ye kasa wa Adinkra TV Adinkra app app store na utimi hu se ye wo so live sabre utimi tie ye ehwe na usue bibi efiri mu open materials papa to a yenia osi bra White Temple Agency if you roofing ekole finishing ni nyina obo ho omo fankrofo a ebetimi abahwe wadwuma ne so ye amawo upesa odi sika ne so esende kodana omo ye trustworthy people no krema so ahwe mankasa mesome de oye amame eti sanso na oso de obeye amawo ye nyina ye busua baako si adodo ye ho de a Ganafo muma ye dodo ye ho ye dodo ye ho de a muma ye nko White Temple Agency ni enko toto materials ni free ho ye si dan se kuo bi si dan se eye asori bi na si dan se ye individuals na si dan ye bebo modern si ebe dwane akọ White Temple Agency or the number sa to dwa or say eye 024-328-4859 not only a danceable, not only a year roofing sheet in the pay or year finishing and so count. You know, Bema, Yadawasi baby. Last question will be some missile say, or Paucho baby, and ye be answer or say, when we be when you sika or the better materials now, mobile share ameyato. Ema di akoguni fie ashishe bibia pepepe enra woni ho.
Dispatching your man free office, your warehouse, your issue, we build near the atusu, aquacudu, site or pepe, a finia to sumi. Your dramatic rules, I account, your project management, Ubuwa, or say, Sumente Ghana, Mini Ubia Metrastano, Intimate Day, Ya Betia to your house. Na ya manage project no to finish it. Enti ube hu se wode adwuma no ehye yensa no ye ma prepare from project execution to finish it. Oba ede wosafo a ahye wonsa ade adwuma ye di no.
Enye ni
Mr. Wa me ma we mfi se ye number no 0243 28 4859 0243 28 4859.
Yo.
Any social media handles or Bebiana Ukuku White Temple Agencies Limited. Ebe Popuama na Winnie Edith also.
Yo, yeni abema ya dasi bebre emi se kakra metimi aka busiane LC osi minkancho mu se ni phone number no ya de san to dwa osi eye 024 328-4859 pacho fa pen ni paper natural 024-328-4859 024 udali 011233 024-328-4859 024-328-4859 Osan Shishoma Obo website White Temple Agency Limited White Temple Agency Limited Udia even typocra from maybe an from baby also on typo White Temple Agency Limited White Temple Agency Limited almost our website www.whitetempleghana.com whitetempleghana.com and also person who email or from White Temple for you to @gmail.com White Temple for you 2 number 4 you like you an umbrella 2@gmail.com. White Temple 4u2@gmail.com. Another phone number 0243 284859 0243 284859. Another number 0233 5015 011-233 5015 yo yenya White Temple Agency any etwetwe komo enyumre se afeya no wa join ye Adinkra live Adinkra TV multimedia New York City America ha yes so say ye can about White Temple Agency Ghana omusisi adan eboaye materials building materials so dan woni emanyina ofrom a roofing roofing akọ finishing misro bomodi so befre White Temple Agency we are sorry we edumaifo company bia anansi individuals bia opesu bia business bi wo Ghana ofrom a omeba beboa wo de onko Ghana kra na wo ni sika ye di fu plane akwa wo de ofrom a omebeboa omobie business account omoye legit we nye fake ya try ahwe na omoye omomfa usika ukọ Ghana wo de usfere ana usro kraso discover mania frobi ana wankasa ko Ghana wo so hwehwe White Temple Agency Ghana omebeboa amowa ye wo dan na aye ne kama yene abema yeda wasi bebre nyame hraw nyame adomo a oba US a ye bepesi ye no betwetwe nkomo not only that baby awo bia ewo a mefrew amowa samba no waba betu yefu no wa kire ekwan ye befa so enye sika ne de ehwa ye din eye business no eye White Temple Agency eniema amoton niema foforo bi aba mayasunti yeda wasi bebre obisi obetimi alesi niema ne kakra amayi eniema deni de apart from sliding doors any doors ankasa any jacuzzi edi eniema biem na mosanton eka roofing sheet ni nyina ho
yo miniama medase ebiem mesada Adinkra
multimedia yes
multimedia medamase na fe etifo ahwefo madamu nyina sese manya sopa edieti me afe ne di ho so ba White Temple se onya reshimu ese ye bodan so amao area ya kata wontoku ano amao sliding windows papabi na fe ya ma begla proof area ya kata ntoku o doors nano with taking security doors afi yes I Balu Street ye wo enkrofo omoye sorry ya enkrofo omoye POP electricians plumbers we've been in business for over 30 years in this the person property management your team say about side say we need problem PIB it's roof windows burglar proof doors with balustrades jacuzzis toiletries and adan hu nioma ye beye ama udane dim sanu men nyina no obisa ya ye betimi ahwamo anytime bia so a kwa beba mo beba US no ma be sram Adinkra na so papa
yo yenya bema yeda wasi bebre nyame hira wo eni ni mapa ne bodembo eni adwumade amoye wo Ghana nyame nya mokese na nyame adom no to yenkom no omaye sika yina beba ho aba beto materials ewo eye White Temple Agency Limited yeda wasi bium yeda wasi papa nyame adom a yebesa atwetwen enkomo bium nyame hira wo yo bye bye yo abusiafo eye White Temple Agency Limited wo Ghana omo na ni etwetwe nkomo enyumre CEO nankasa ono na your friend anaju onaye osi oni e betwetwe nkomo say in case na say unsi dan bi na nyame ya wadom ska beton nsem na pesu ko si dan a ukọ ho a omo beboa o materials ni nyina mu yekuo bio mu si dan in group so mu si real estate bi tonton wo Ghana osi ko White Temple Agency and as individuals so waka say we sit down with chrome one bedroom bimu and 2 bedrooms and bro sign whatever you are doing almost bomode ko White Temple Agency omba boa even estimate ni cry free oba omoba boa wa pick materials papa e be last year che ama wanka sa weni age na owu dina weni beji pa it bomode say obekọ White Temple Agency Mr. Busianfo madam asi bebre eye eku a eboa ye sponsors a eboa ye ewo dwumedi ayedi eye Ecobank ewo Ghana Ecobank Limited Ghana eye Ecobank ewo Ghana misremo Ecobank eye ewo Ghana omosi so pesu bie eye ubie dollar account eye seed anase ubie series account a momodin se ubeko Ecobank ombeboa ama webie eye dollar account anase upesu bie series account nso a uba ombeboa omosa eboa ema woto purchase property upesu uto ajapadie bi a ombesa aboa ama wato omosa aboa ma loans Ecobank ewo Ghana omusi uhia loan edi esi udan ana udi adija osebra ombeboa omusa aboa ma otua wo bills eye Ecobank ubie account na betimi de achia wo bills betimi de ayene ma bebre omusa achia wo sebo modern sa friend number misro osi ubo 023326714306 Ubo 011233 na we abebo 26714306 Owo Ghana nso na pesa o friend number na 0267143006 0267143006 my homes almost see a dying my homes build your dream home almost bomodi answer Myla for say Myla homes almost bomodi answer baba abato efie upe dying ato a upe 1 bedroom 2 bedrooms 3 bedrooms any rooms quantity bia o from Myla homes ombeboa ama wato efie no osebra omoba chirawo omodo ga call rounds bibia eden bia wo hwehwe rooms bia ope even ope efie na ato a whole house ato a oba oha ombeboa amawa apeki efie a ope omosa ope Airbnb akodemo a ko Myla homes omotwen okọ ho a omobeboa amawa peki Airbnb edan a ope unya ska krato na pesukodi holidays babronya na ebe bomodin selbeko Myla homes omotwen omosebra ebeto efie anase be renti Airbnb enko ba bia so beko Myla homes akwakope Airbnb ni bi emu ada o person live life good life ewo ho a omosebra omodan air condition papa wo ho security wise wo ho oba you are well protected o saba so swimming pool wow ebi kro jare swimming pool mu onkai bomodin se no mba eno nananom eni webusianfo ukunu oyere mo person mo kwaji mo ni kakra ko ho Myla homes for say bra swimming pool wo ho security wise very tight oba ni beje oda obeda internet bibia bi ewo ho omo number ye 011233 530360462462 01233 530360462462 anase ufrefi Ghana ana another state ana another country or say for 0530360462 0530360462 Rockies organic mixture almost say ope so uski ye no kama but modern say we use organic mixture Rockies organic mixture oski be toso kama we the organic di o papa oba se skin rashes bi kra na egu ho a o di ya na ekọ ebe ma skin atoso no kama wo pimples bi wo ho ana say o muscles so be stretch marks ne ade you so eno Rockies organic mixture on be boa ama skin na ye kama bo modi so ube pebi aye ohun omo number ye 917-836-3155 917-836-3155 abusianfo ene dwumadie me da mo ase bebre se modi anije ede odo ene ahobrase etie me so me de ahobrase da mo ase bebre nyame nye obi akese ye free hakwe ye say your life is more precious ya share your life erade ehu ye mobo no kosum boy ye ho ban ye koni ye ba ofa ye nko fa ye mbra ejumemu asori mu nkole ko school ni nyina erade enkoso nchichi ye nyina re no hye ye din onbo ye ho ba fo na taban kese ekata yeso misro say die anepa shatare pa misro say diweni life is too short etimesre say hwewapomudi huye wapomudi huye ache bibia ene jumedie ye beka ba high blood pressure semunya mu huye silence killer hypertension ene wasua bibi afrumu a mesre say fa enije eni odo eni biakoye etra asasi so na ewiase ye mfa ko bebia wo sape materials papa e de ayo dan finishing nso a mesi bo modern so beko White Temple Agency almost sebra ombeboa wo America ha ana wo baby bia wo wiase nyina na wuntimi nko fie kra wo de from ombeboa apiki quality materials papa na wo de aye wo dan no na se ukọ awani akwaji mi amedan omo ana ye man eti bo modern se obeko etiefo mekasa no man ka se ya mesre se mo fa nchene me anofo yenso a mo fa ni nyina nchene si ye late ni mba ya mesre eya na doctors ene ba be kire ye niema ya sro mo se mo meboaye misro se health and business and health wapomudi ehu hiame eye precious sanso na yakoni eba sikano hu hia ene sika ho aye den eti koye be fa so enye sika enu na sese ye hwehwe mesre se ye be ma financial advisors aba be chire ye niema uye living uye pensioner uko pension uwe adwumemu upe adwume bi fofra ya ka ho eye side hustle jobs wenwie wadwuma ewa broche ha ope adwuma foforo bi aye ewo nche ni nyina ye be man krofo aba be chire nyansa ni obakofo tirim no apeke de ope wo mu eti medi nyame jamo nyame adom adasene ye be say share. I love you all. Please stay safe.